for joining me on our evening stroll to the Tattered Page Cafe. The rain is coming down in sheets now, drumming against the sidewalk in a steady, insistent rhythm. Your umbrella gave up 2 blocks ago, turned inside out, in a gust of wind that left you laughing in disbelief and thoroughly soaked through. Now, your pace is slow, resigned, shoes squelching slightly as you round the corner. Your umbrella, long since defeated, dangles at your side like a broken wing. Street lights flicker to life, one by one, their halos blurred in the mist. Then, like a secret whispered through the noise, you see the sign. The Tattered Page Cafe. The yellow glow from the windows spills onto the wet pavement like a warm welcome. You step up under the awning, shaking off the rain, and push open the wooden door. As you step inside, the door closes behind you with a soft chime, sealing the storm away as if it never existed. Warmth envelops you instantly, not just from the fireplace nearby gently crackling, but from the space itself. The coffee shop is small, cozy in that unassuming, perfectly imperfect way. Tables are mismatched. One's a repurposed sewing machine, another a vintage chessboard. The air smells of dark roast, vanilla, and old paper. There's soft music playing, something instrumental and old, like a lullaby played on a weathered piano. You pause just inside the threshold, dripping onto a worn welcome mat, and take it all in. As you carefully drape your wet coat on the brass hook rack along the wall, the barista looks up and smiles. Not the kind people give out of politeness, but the kind that says, "We're glad you're here." She nods towards the counter, and soon a warm ceramic mug is nestled in your hands, its heat grounding you. To the right, a narrow archway leads to a used bookstore, shelves leaning with the weight of well-loved stories. The floorboards creak under your feet as you wander in. The shelves are tall and uneven, stacked with old journals, yellowed paperbacks with cracked spines, and odd trinkets, a compass, a tiny porcelain ship, an hourglass filled with black sand. Some are labeled in languages you don't recognize. Others have no titles at all. Every page humming softly with all the lives they've held. There are small surprises tucked everywhere, tiny handwritten notes recommending favorites, pressed leaves between poetry collections, even a ceramic box curled beside a stack of fairy tales. You trail your fingers along the shelves until something catches your eye. A thick cloth-bound book wedged between 2 volumes on cartography. No markings on the spine, and it feels heavier than it should when you lift it. The green of the cover is so deep it's almost black, and it feels colder than it should, even in this warmth. The pages are slightly warped, like it's been near a fire, or maybe in the rain. When you open it, you feel something whisper to you. There's writing, but not all of it is legible. The ink seems to shift when you try to focus, curling away from your gaze, refusing to be known. Curious, you turn back toward the cafe, book in hand. The fireplace, with a small hearth, framed in old stone, crackles with a steady flame. You claim a little nook by the window on the right, a seat with a cushion that's seen better days, and a small table just big enough for your drink. Outside, the rain still falls, still beating down, painting the glass with its quiet rhythm. You sit, the book balanced in your lap, steam rising from your cup. You're dry, you're safe, you're exactly where you're meant to be. The world narrows to this: the scent of old paper and warm espresso, the hush of rain, the gentle turning of pages. You found shelter, not just from the storm, but from everything else too. You open the book to reveal a door carved with symbols, and it looks familiar. You pause. A chill skims your spine, not unpleasant, but insistent. Your eyes flick back to the fireplace, to the stones around it. One of them bears a symbol, half-worn, barely visible. The same as the one in the book. You trace the symbol on the page with your fingertip carefully, as though it might vanish if you press too hard. The fire crackles beside you, throwing soft, flickering shadows over the worn pages. For a moment, all is still. Then, just beneath the illustration of the door, something changes. It's subtle, just a shift in the paper, as though it has breathed. A small crease that wasn't there before. You glance down and notice it now. A seam, barely visible along the edge of the page. It's not just an illusion. It's a flap, a hidden fold. You hesitate, then lift it. The page unfolds with a soft rustle, revealing a smaller page tucked inside, thinner, older, yellowed at the edges. The handwriting here is different, tighter and slanted, as though written in a hurry or under a dim light. At the top, a single title: The Tale of Urashima Taro. Your heart ticks slower, as though it too is listening. The fire snaps, sending a tiny ember drifting upward. You settle deeper into the chair, the book open across your knees. This story wasn't here before, you're certain of it. And now it is. You begin to read. Long ago, when the sea still whispered secrets to those who listened, there lived a humble fisherman named Urashima Taro. He spent his days casting nets beneath wide open skies, and his nights watching the moon's reflection dance upon the waves. One morning, he came upon a cruel sight: a group of children tormenting a small turtle. Urashima's heart stirred with compassion. He rushed to the turtle's side, scolding the children and cradling the trembling animal in his hands. With a soft farewell, he returned it to the sea. The turtle, as if carried away by the tide of fate, vanished beneath the surface of the waves with barely a ripple. Days passed until one morning, as the mist clung to the waves, a great turtle rose from the ocean's depths. Its eyes were wise, its voice calm.
Kind fisherman, it said, you saved me when I was helpless. I have come to take you to a place few have ever seen. The Dragon Palace of the sea god, Ryugujo. The princess of the deep wishes to thank you herself.
Urashima climbed onto the turtle's back. Together they plunged beneath the waves, leaving behind the world of men. Through coral forest, aglow with schools of bioluminescent fish, fields of sea anemones in every color, like meadows filled with wildflowers, dancing under the shimmering currents, they descended into wonder. There stood Ryugujo, a place of pearl and crystal, where time drifted like a forgotten song. There he met Otohime, the princess of the sea. She welcomed him with grace, and in her presence he found joy and peace. Days turned into nights, nights into dreams, and time, it seemed, stood still. Yet, something in Urashima's heart stirred, a longing for the shore, for the wind, for the quiet little village where he was born. The princess saw his sadness and did not hold him back. Instead, she placed in his hands a lacquered box wrapped in silk, a tamate bako. "This gift," she said. "Take it with you, but promise me this. You must never open it." Urashima returned to Lan, but all was changed. The houses were unfamiliar, the people strangers, the trees taller than memory. He asked a passerby,
"Do you know of a man named Urashima Taro?" Urashima. That name is from a legend. They say he vanished into the sea over 300 years ago.
alone, lost in time. Urashima looked down at the box the princess had given him, remembering her warning. His hands trembled, and his heart broke beneath the weight of the years. In despair, he opened the box. A pale mist rose from the box, soft, cold, and silent. In a single breath, his hair turned silver, his back bent, and his youth fell away like a forgotten dream. Time, it seems, had come for him at last. And so ends the tale of Urashima Taro, a story of kindness, longing, and the great mystery of time. For in the rhythm of the sea, even a single moment may last forever. With a crisp pop from the embers, the fire's glow wraps you in its gentle embrace, and you find yourself here again, in this snug sanctuary, the Tattered Page Cafe, where time slows and every crackle of the hearth tells its own secret. Steam curls from your mug as you bring it to your lips, savoring the warmth with a slow, comforting sip. Refreshed and fully present, you turn the page, eager to see what adventure awaits you next.